Ever feel like you're constantly daydreaming? In class or even at work, like struggling to stay organized or maybe just taking a little longer to process things than everyone else.
Yeah.
Well, you're definitely not alone.
Nope.
Today, we're taking a deep dive into the world of ADHD in girls and women.
Right.
It's a topic that's so often just misunderstood and overlooked. What is our mission for this deep dive?
So the goal is to really help you understand not just the challenges, but those nuances of ADHD in females.
Okay.
Why is it often missed? Why is diagnosis so often delayed?
Right.
We're going to unpack all of that.
Okay, let's unpack this then.
Yeah.
I think when most people hear ADHD, they picture a hyperactive little boy.
Yeah.
But this deep dive focuses on girls. So what are we missing in that picture?
You're right. That classic image of a boy just bouncing off the walls. That's what often comes to mind, right?
Yeah.
But that's just one presentation of ADHD.
Okay.
It's the hyperactive type.
Right.
Which is more common in boys.
Okay.
Girls, on the other hand, often have what's called the inattentive type.
The inattentive. Okay.
Yeah.
So instead of bouncing off the walls, what might we see in a classroom full of girls?
So instead of that outward hyperactivity, right, these girls might be quiet,
okay,
seem well-behaved, but their minds are miles away.
Oh, wow.
They might be struggling to follow instructions,
Okay.
losing track of their belongings,
Right.
or constantly daydreaming. ADHD girls uses this powerful metaphor to describe this. It's like their attention is a radio. Always tuned to the wrong station.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. It really gets at how internal that struggle can be.
Yeah.
But if it's less obvious than the hyperactive type, why is the inattentive type so often missed in girls?
Well, one reason is how ADHD research was conducted in the past.
Oh, okay.
Back in the 1970s,
Yeah.
most of the studies focused on, you guessed it,
Young boys.
young white boys,
Right.
with those very visible hyperactive symptoms.
So they basically built the definition of ADHD around that presentation.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
And that created a sort of diagnostic blind spot for girls.
Interesting.
So imagine you have a puzzle piece that doesn't quite fit the picture you're trying to create.
Okay.
You might assume the piece is wrong,
Right.
but what if the picture itself is incomplete? You see?
Yeah.
That's what it's been like for girls with ADHD.
Wow.
They're the puzzle pieces that don't fit the outdated picture,
Right.
so they're often overlooked or misdiagnosed.
So they're overlooked, they're misdiagnosed. What kind of impact does this have on girls?
These girls are struggling silently.
Right.
They're more likely to internalize their challenges, blaming themselves for their difficulties with organization,
Right.
decision-making, or processing information.
Yeah.
This can lead to a whole host of problems,
Okay.
from academic struggles to social difficulties, and even mental health issues like anxiety and depression.
It sounds like a domino effect. You're struggling, but no one understands why, so you start to think something's wrong with you.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the research backs this up.
Oh, really?
One study found that girls with undiagnosed ADHD are 3 times more likely to develop an eating disorder compared to their peers.
Wow.
That's a pretty alarming statistic.
3 times more likely. That's a huge red flag.
But things are changing, right?
Yeah.
I've heard that ADHD diagnoses in women are on the rise.
That's right.
Okay.
We're seeing a significant increase in the number of women being diagnosed with ADHD.
In fact, the number of women aged 23 to 34
Yeah.
diagnosed with ADHD nearly doubled between 2020 and 2022.
That is a huge increase. It seems like we're finally starting to recognize and understand this issue.
It's definitely a positive step.
Yeah.
But this rise in diagnoses
Okay.
also highlights the very real risks associated with undiagnosed ADHD in females.
So what are some of those risks? Why does it matter if a girl or a woman goes undiagnosed?
Think about it this way. Research shows that undiagnosed ADHD in women can lead to a greater risk of substance abuse,
Wow.
accidents,
Okay.
and even difficulty forming and maintaining healthy relationships. It can also impact career choices,
Okay.
financial stability, leading to lower income levels.
So it's not just about academic struggles or feeling different. It can
Right.
really have long-term consequences across all aspects of a woman's life.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Imagine the trajectory of a woman's life.
Wow.
Could be significantly different with the right support and early intervention.
That's a powerful point. But it's not just about ADHD itself, right?
You're absolutely right.
There's often more to the story.
Girls with ADHD are also more likely to experience what we call comorbidities.
Comorbidities, what does that mean?
It essentially means that they are more likely to have other conditions alongside ADHD.
Oh, I see. Okay.
For example, ADHD Girls describes a case study of a young woman named Sarah.
Okay.
Who was struggling with both ADHD and generalized anxiety disorder.
Okay.
Sarah's anxiety was so severe that it masked her ADHD symptoms.
Wow.
Making it incredibly difficult to get an accurate diagnosis.
So her anxiety was like a smoke screen?
Exactly.
Hiding the underlying ADHD?
Exactly. And this happens quite frequently.
Wow.
Girls with ADHD might also experience depression.
Okay.
Oppositional defiant disorder.
Right.
Or even conduct disorder.
Yeah, right.
These co-occurring issues can further complicate diagnosis.
Yeah.
Because the symptoms might overlap or be misattributed to one condition or the other.
Right.
See?
That makes sense. It must be incredibly frustrating for these girls, especially if they're not getting the right support because the full picture isn't clear.
Absolutely. And to make things even more complicated, we also need to consider the impact of hormonal fluctuations throughout a woman's life.
Okay, so we're talking about puberty, menstruation, pregnancy, even menopause. These are all times when hormone levels are shifting dramatically.
Right.
How do these hormonal shifts affect girls and women with ADHD?
Well, these hormonal shifts can actually influence the severity and presentation of ADHD symptoms.
Yeah, wow.
For example, some women find that their symptoms worsen during certain phases of their menstrual cycle or during pregnancy.
So it's not a static condition. It's something that can ebb and flow throughout a woman's life.
Right.
And this means
that treatment and support need to be adaptable and personalized.
Right.
What works for a girl during adolescence might need to be adjusted as she enters adulthood.
Right.
And experiences these hormonal shifts.
This is all so incredibly insightful.
Yeah.
I'm realizing how much we still need to learn and understand about ADHD in girls and women.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And awareness is key.
Yeah.
The more we understand the unique challenges girls and women with ADHD face, the better equipped we are to provide the support they need to thrive.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And thrive they will.
Yes.
It seems like we've only just scratched the surface here.
Yeah.
There's so much more to uncover about ADHD in girls and women. What else is important for our listener to understand?
Well, what's fascinating to me is that it's not just about individual experiences.
Okay.
We're actually talking about a systemic issue here.
What do you mean by systemic?
The way ADHD has been understood and diagnosed has historically been biased towards a male presentation of the disorder.
Because of that early research we talked about, right?
Right.
Where they focused almost exclusively on boys with the hyperactive type.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And that's why it's so important to reevaluate those traditional diagnostic criteria.
Okay.
We need to make sure that females with ADHD, particularly those with the inattentive type, are being identified and supported effectively.
So how do we start to shift those systems?
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Well, awareness is a powerful first step.
Okay.
We need to raise awareness among educators, parents, healthcare professionals, anyone who interacts with young girls.
Because if they don't know the signs, they're not going to be looking for them, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that can lead to missed opportunities for early intervention, which we've already discussed is so crucial.
Right. It's like that saying, knowledge is power. The more we understand ADHD in girls, the better equipped we are to provide the right support.
Yeah.
So what does that support look like? Is it all about medication?
Well, medication can be helpful for some individuals, but it's certainly not the whole picture.
Okay.
It's really about providing girls with the tools and strategies they need to manage their symptoms and thrive in all areas of their lives.
What kinds of tools and strategies are we talking about?
Think about organizational skills, time management techniques, even just helping them understand their own strengths and challenges.
Okay.
It's about empowering them to work with their unique brains, not against them. Many girls with ADHD struggle with feelings of inadequacy or self-doubt.
Okay.
They've often been told they're lazy, spacey, or just not trying hard enough.
It must be so hard to internalize those negative messages, especially when you don't understand why you're struggling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why creating a safe and supportive environment where girls can be themselves and embrace their neurodiversity is so crucial.
We need to shift the narrative from what's wrong with you to what are your strengths? What makes you unique? How can we support you?
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing that ADHD is not a deficit
Right.
It's just a different way of thinking and experiencing the world.
And that difference can be a source of incredible creativity, energy, and passion. Just imagine all the amazing women throughout history who likely had ADHD.
We may never know their names, but their stories are out there.
Yeah.
They were innovators, artists, leaders, all pushing boundaries and making a difference in their own unique ways.
By shining a light on ADHD in girls today, we're not just helping individuals.
Right.
We're paving the way for future generations to embrace their unique strengths and reach their full potential.
It's about creating a more inclusive and accepting world where everyone can thrive, regardless of how their brain is wired.
This has been such an eye-opening conversation.
Yeah.
What stands out to you the most from all of this information?
For me, it's the power of awareness.
Okay.
Simply understanding the unique challenges girls with ADHD face can be a game changer. You know, it can help us reframe those behaviors that are often misinterpreted.
Right.
And start providing the right support.
I completely agree. It's about shifting our perspectives and challenging those outdated assumptions about what ADHD looks like.
And it's about recognizing that early intervention and ongoing support aren't just beneficial.
Yeah.
They're absolutely essential for these girls to thrive.
Every girl deserves the chance to shine, and with the right support, they can absolutely light up the world. It feels like we've been handed this whole new playbook for understanding ADHD in girls. Where do we even begin to put all this knowledge into action?
Well, it all starts with those open and honest conversations. You know, we need to encourage girls and women to speak up about their experiences.
Right.
Share their struggles and their triumphs.
It can be so isolating to feel like you're the only one struggling.
Right.
But when we share our stories,
Yeah.
it breaks down the stigma and creates a sense of community.
Exactly. That allows people to connect, support each other.
Yeah.
And realize they're not alone.
What about the role of parents and educators?
Yeah.
They're with these girls every day.
Right.
What can they do to make a difference?
They're on the front lines, absolutely.
Yeah.
And they need to be equipped with the knowledge and tools to identify the often subtle signs of ADHD in girls.
So instead of writing off a girl as daydreamy or spacey,
Right.
they might start to consider whether ADHD might be a factor.
Precisely. And once those signs are recognized, it's crucial to connect these girls with the right resources and support.
That might mean therapy, medication, or a combination of approaches, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's about finding what works best for each individual.
Absolutely. And that's where a multidisciplinary approach can be really beneficial.
Okay.
It's not just about medical professionals, but also therapists, educators, and even coaches working together to create a holistic support system.
So it's really a team effort.
Yeah.
To help these girls thrive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's not just about providing support.
Okay.
It's also about empowering girls to advocate for themselves.
What do you mean by that?
It's about teaching them to understand their diagnosis.
Okay.
To know their rights.
Right.
And to feel comfortable speaking up for their needs in school, at work, and in their relationships.
So giving them the tools and confidence to navigate a world that wasn't really designed with their neurodiversity in mind.
Exactly. And that's where mentorship and role models can play such a vital role.
Okay.
It's so important for girls with ADHD to see examples of successful women.
Right.
Who have thrived in their chosen fields despite facing similar challenges.
Representation matters.
Yes.
It shows them that anything is possible.
Absolutely.
That they can achieve their dreams even with ADHD.
For sure.
Well, as we wrap up this deep dive,
yeah,
I want to leave our listener with one final thought.
Okay.
Knowing what we now know about the inattentive type of ADHD and the historical bias in diagnosis, could there be women in your life who might benefit from further exploration or support?
That's a powerful question.
Yeah.
And one I think we should all be asking ourselves.
Right.
Chances are we all know someone who might be struggling silently with ADHD.
Maybe it's a friend, a family member, a colleague, or even ourselves.
Right.
Let's not be afraid to start the conversation.
Yeah.
Offer a listening ear, a compassionate heart, and let them know they're not alone.
We can all play a role in creating a more supportive and inclusive world for girls and women with ADHD.
Absolutely.
Let's challenge those outdated stereotypes and empower them to embrace their unique brilliance.
It's been amazing to explore this topic with you, and to our listener, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep advocating for a more inclusive world.
Until next time.